right, guys, welcome back. Welcome in and bear down. And today, it seems to be revolving all around the wide receivers. If you didn't see earlier, I reported on where the pro days are happening this week. So that was kind of the big news before today happened. So here's the ones that happened today. We'll see where the Bears were in attendance, who they had their eyes on, where they were. But the big news turned into this of the day. Olamide Zaccheaus was in Halas Hall signing his new contract, so the Bears appropriately welcomed him to Halas Hall, and he signed his contract. He also had an introductory press conference. In that, he was basically just saying how excited he was to be in Chicago. Nothing deep there, just very excited to be a part of this. Feels like he can win a championship here. That's why he chose the Bears. He was very excited. But then the big news this morning was that, according to Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo, that free agent wide receiver Rondale Moore, who visited the Vikings last week, is visiting the Bears today. Obviously, I got excited over that. You guys who have been following this channel know that I've been mocking Rondale Moore in off seasons, in free agency forever. Like before the playoffs were even over. I've been doing this since December and January. I saw him as a potential cheap target the Bears could go after. They can take the top off with blazing speed. We know the Bears have gone after Rome Odunze as the contested catch specialist. DJ Moore as more of a yacker. He's more of a running back and a wide receiver body. Get him the ball, and he can give you 15-plus yards. We now have a good slot receiver, and now we need someone to take the top off. That's how you would put it. We need someone with that blazing speed that can hit that role in Ben Johnson's offense. So I won't be shocked if one of these gets signed. I think everybody should come around to the idea that it probably is going to be signed now. But here's a reviewed look at both of them. So Rondale Moore in his fifth season now. Last season, you see 2024 was missing because he was traded from Arizona to Atlanta for Desmond Ridder and then ended up getting injured preseason with a knee injury, one that would cost him the entire season. Now, coming out of Purdue, he was labeled as a very intelligent receiver, one that was disciplined, one that had very high character, blazing fast speed. So you can see here 9.32 RAS score with a, right down here, 4.32 40-yard dash. Now, you'll hear people saying he had a 4.29 because unofficially he ran a 4.29, but it was not clocked on an official 4.29. So his official RAS score is or his official 40 time is a 4.32. Still, I mean, you're talking lightning quick and lightning quick. So neither way you can make that sound like a negative thing. Those are both very positive. Only 24 years old, going to be turning 25 here in a couple months. So he's still very young. To me, this is a situation where the Bears have brought him in. He's got high character, high intelligence, and those are things the Bears look at. So if he's got both those things and he's healthy, this would be a no-brainer. The Bears might kick a little extra in. You can see from Spotrac, they've had him listed at $1.5 million as an average salary, kind of a prove-it year. That's what these guys coming off injury who have had down years need to do is prove it. So I've been mocking forever 2 years at $4 million, 2 years at $5 million. Kick a little extra to him. If the Vikings are going to throw go ahead and throw $2.5 million. I don't care. Do the 1 year, $2.5 million. Does not matter. Give him an opportunity to come here. See if we can get Caleb to blaze the top off of these teams. Get behind the safeties and hit a couple of those home run throws. That's what you'd like to see. So he and Mecole Hardman are very similar. Only difference is just a little bit of age. You can see Mecole Hardman just turned 27 years old. 8.73 RAS with a 40-yard dash of 4.33. Okay, so Mecole Hardman with Kansas City most of the time, then went to the Jets, then came back to Kansas City as well. But the same thing plagues Mecole Hardman. He's not without his injury histories either. He missed 7 games with a groin injury in 2022, 2 games with a hamstring in 2021, 2 games with a concussion in 2019. Most serious injury was a core muscle that happened in 2022 as well. And recently suffered a knee injury and was placed on the injured reserve for that. So I would say both these guys need to check out a medical. Injuries happen. They happen in the NFL. So it's not like you're ever going to have a player that isn't with exempt from having an injury. But the Bears want to make sure they have a good investment here on someone they're going to take a flyer on. I see both of these as being a potential for the Bears. I would hope that Rondale Moore is the fit. We'll just have to see when it comes down to those medicals for that. Once again, I'll just show you here the depth tree here. You can see going into 2024, the Bears had 10 wide receivers and 6 tight ends on the roster. The Bears have already interviewed several tight ends at the Combine, so you'd think that last tight end is probably going to come through the draft, whether it's the first, second, third, fourth, well, we don't have a fourth rounder, but fifth round, whether it's right in there somewhere. And then wide receiver, we got 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 10 on roster for last year's camp. So it wouldn't stop anything from the Bears picking up either Mecole Hardman or Rondale Moore or both, or even still picking up Colin Johnson or DeAndre Carter again or Simba Webster. There's still options. We're going to bring 10 of these guys, potentially 10 of these guys, into camp, and we're going to want options as we go into that 90-man roster. Then we can trim down from there. So bring the best ones in. And Tyler Scott, by any means, is not safe on this roster. Just because he was a rookie a couple years ago does not mean he's safe. Those rookies can be expendable if somebody else comes on. Say you bring Rondale Moore and Mecole Hardman on, who have both had better production than Tyler Scott. Tyler Scott is in no way or mean safe on this roster if we bring both of them on. And then if you bring another high point guy, Colin Johnson or Simba Webster, or another return specialist, DeAndre Carter, there are options on this team, and you can easily take 6 onto the 53-man roster. So I'm not saying we're exempt from drafting one still. We could easily draft one. I would say that might be more of your 6th, 7th rounder range for that at this point with what the Bears have added with Rome last year, DJ's extension, and now adding Olamide Zaccheaus and potentially adding Rondale Moore and or Mecole Hardman. I would say it's going to be in the later range with, Efton Chisholm. If you can grab an Efton Chisholm late in this draft, or a Nick Nash, or a Jimmy Horn, or, hey, even if Ricky White. You guys know how much I love Ricky White. If Ricky White falls so far. There's also Dante Thornton in the draft, who's projected as a late rounder because his route running isn't the cleanest. His hands need a little bit of work, but he's 6'5", and he also runs a 4.3 240. So there are options for this team. Adding Olamide Zaccheaus is a great move. Adding to that Rondale Moore and or Mecole Hardman would be great moves as well. So to me, this is just the Bears doing what they need to do best and build a proper roster around Caleb. Because as it stood, we're going to take 10 in the 90-man roster. We only had 5 or 6 guys that we're going to take in there. We need to add some bodies into that camp. Now, I'm not saying Rondale Moore and Mecole Hardman are just camp bodies, because if these guys are going to choose where they're going to go, they're going to want to come somewhere where they have an opportunity to compete, opportunity to showcase their skills, an opportunity to be with Caleb and show off that they have a chance to make this roster and be able to excel on this roster. So I'm not saying these are just camp bodies. Both these guys would actually be wide receiver 3, 4, or 5-ish, somewhere in that range. They would likely make the 53-man roster, and players like Tyler Scott would be more on the bubble and possibly not make the roster. But let me know what you guys think. Are you as excited as I am about this? Obviously, I'm elated to the moon about Rondale Moore. This is something I've been hoping for all offseason, something that I really wanted, one of my key free agent targets that I wanted the Bears to go after. In fact, on Twitter, if you follow me, I put on there a couple weeks ago, when free agency opens, the number one thing I want the Bears to go after is Rondale Moore, which is silly because we had so many other needs. But I saw the potential for him taking the top off. In fact, I figured I better go find this for you guys real quick. So I paused it. Here's my post from February 13th. When free agency opens on March 10th, I hope the first signing announced for the Bears is Rondale Moore. That lightning-quick 4.32 speed would pair well with Ben Johnson's offense. He would be a value signing with his injury history, but has extremely high upside. So this is something I've been hoping for a long time. Let me know how you guys feel about it, if you would be excited for either one of these guys or which one you would be excited for. Either way, we are going to add depth to our wide receiver room. So this is a fun day for the Bears to be able to see some action going on. And then we'll get back into the pro days and the top 30 visits. And we're getting closer to the draft, but we still have some things to round out on this roster. So with that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know why you haven't by now, but go ahead and do it. You're not going to regret it. I'm pumping out as much content as I can, giving you an unbiased and genuine, authentic take on Chicago Bears football. So I will continue to do that for you. With that, I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, the Bears and bear down. Sports making Chicago.